Welcome to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk with Tego and Tracy Venturi of the Venturi Group Real Broker here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, episode 470 on our radio show and podcast talking about real estate here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm Tego Venturi and
Tracy Venturi with Real Broker. Tego, we love to come here and talk real estate, everything real estate. And I know that sort of near the beginning of the month of December still. So I suspect we have stats to go over.
Oh, we do. Of course, we have some stats because obviously we just got the November numbers. And so we're going to go through that. Tracy, a couple news stories that I've been following, some stuff about hedge funds buying homes. It's kind of a contentious story or contentious topic, I guess is the best way to put it, is these, big firms and hedge funds buying up single family homes. I'm going to talk about that. Tracy, you had something about wealth creation and wealth in the United States for homeowners versus renters. And did you want to start off with that story?
Sure, we can. So the interesting thing, Tego, so I'll go through it, but I mean, this is not news to our listeners. Our listeners hear us talk about wealth building through real estate and the benefits of real estate and wealth building. But there was a big blog post this week about building wealth brick by brick. Great title.
Yeah,
right?
it was
First American Title. First American Title did this study, right? Building wealth brick by brick. And, it was what we all know, that homeownership is a significant wealth builder, especially for lower income households, right? Because building wealth through homeownership impacts them proportionately a great deal.
Let me add to that. So that was one of the things they found when they started looking at home ownership versus renting. And they found that the lower income level folks have a much larger proportion of their net worth in their house than higher income. So just to give an example, if your net worth is more than $250,000, it's only 23% of your net worth is your real estate, your house. Where people in that let's say $30,000 to $50,000 bracket, it's about 68% of their net worth is in real estate. So that was kind of an interesting take on that.
Yeah, very much so. So also, homeowners generally have much greater wealth than renters, which we just said, with the median homeowner having 38 times more household wealth than a renter or a non-owner, right? Pretty significant. That home equity is a major component of net worth, more so for lower income households, which you just kind of brought up. House price appreciation has historically contributed to this equity gain or inequity.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And despite potential market volatility, home ownership remains a key driver of wealth accumulation for most households. Even now, we've closed on a few homes this week for a few buyers, and, they're starting their wealth journey with those homes. And so interest rates, I know this wasn't on the calendar for today, but
no,
interest rates.
That's like the big news of the week, actually.
There we go. Okay. The big news of the week and the last 6 weeks or so is that interest rates have been steadily coming down, and they're in that, 7% range now instead of over 8.
Yeah, really, really close to the 7. Haven't really seen anything in the 6s yet, but all the
smart brains out there are saying they're going to be in the 6s, but they have not been right in the past.
No, we've predicting mortgage interest rates is a really, really tough game because there's so many things that go into it. But I will say, so Dr. Lawrence Hune was actually here in Albuquerque
this week.
Just this week. Dr. Hune is the chief economist with the National Association of Realtors. He was here for our annual meeting for our GAR, our local association here.
GAR,
Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. I know it sounds like I'm talking pirate when I say GAR.
Yeah, you were talking pirate. Greater Association, it's our realtor association. He came to our annual meeting and talked. He was awesome, usual. As
usual. And of course, I was in the front row.
Of course.
But he talked about the kind of the bigger picture nationally. And what we're seeing nationally is that prices are up about 3.5% nationally, median prices. And median price in the entire country now is about 390,000. But if you compare that to Albuquerque, we're actually lower than that. So
Right.
median price for November in Albuquerque was at 350,000 versus the 391 nationally. But going back to interest rates, so he kind of did his projection for interest rates, and him as well as a lot of the other people that look at this stuff do expect rates to be in the sixes here in the first quarter of 24, and we'll see where we get to. We know that there's been an affordability crunch on people, but yet we all still need a place to live, and
so I helped a beautiful family this week close on a really lovely house in Rio Rancho. They got some seller help to buy down the interest rate, and they closed it at 7% this week, which, if they were locking in their rate right now based on their credit and, what they would qualify for, they would have probably gotten that rate without a lot of extra fees to get to that rate. But now, if it goes down more and they're in this low sixes, they can refinance, which is what we are telling buyers right now. If it continues to go down and you decide to buy now, you can always take advantage of a lower rate when the rates are lower.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of expectations that there will be a refi boom here in the next few years if rates get into the fives, just depending.
Or sixes. I mean, there's people we've closed in the last couple of months at 8 or higher.
True.
And, their house prices aren't going down right now. So
one of the big questions I keep hearing out there, some of the national real estate reporters asking us, feet on the street realtors out and about, like, are we seeing more buyers coming into the market because rates have dropped about 1%? And I've got my answer, Tracy, but what do you think? Do you think there's more people?
I wouldn't say it's what I think, it's what I know. Right?
Okay.
Yes, we've had more people reaching back out that were kind of waiting on the sidelines saying, I'm going to wait, rates are too high. And on top of that, with the time of year, they don't have as much competition. So when those gems of houses come on the market, they're not competing as much with other buyers because many other buyers are thinking it's holiday season. I'll wait till spring or whenever my lease is up.
Yep.
Versus thinking of breaking a lease, which we've had a few people do that lately, is break leases to be able to move forward and buy that house and start that wealth building journey.
Yeah, for sure. So anything else on that? We were talking about, home ownership and net worth, and, it's whatever.
Building
what's the number?
family
38
wealth.
times more household wealth if you're a homeowner versus a renter. And of course, we know there's a lot of reasons around that as well, right?
For sure.
But I think it's still a pretty shocking statistic. Tracy, market stats.
Yeah.
It's November.
Go for it.
Okay. Let's just kind of run through this. What happened with home sales in Albuquerque for November this year, and a couple of things that jumped out to me. And first and foremost, I'll start with the bad news. And the bad news is the affordability. We just talked about that, Tracy. I mean, really, there's ways we measure affordability in housing, and basically it's, median income versus median prices, really, right? So it's not just what are the prices, it's also what does it cost, what are mortgage rates, what's your basically debt to income or your mortgage to income ratio. And it's bad. It's about as bad as we've seen. I've got stats back to 2007, and in this year, here it is right here. So it's pretty much at the all-time low since 2007. Meaning
affordability.
It's affordability, and a lot of that has to do with November, October. We hit some 8% mortgages.
Right.
Again, now we're talking about that it's come down recently, but that definitely is hurt folks, and incomes aren't keeping up, as I think people know.
It has, and this is now old news. I mean, it's not that old news, but the properties that are closing now were put under contract 30 to 45 days ago when the interest rates were higher, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just talk about some of the things. The number of homes coming on the market, it's still very low. We had about 700 homes come on the market in Albuquerque, about 750, which is a pretty low number. I mean, that's, generally we'll see in a normal year maybe 1,000 homes or something, and that's a little bit more than last year, but last year was like an all-time low. So we're still in that place where there's not a lot of people super motivated to sell and move unless they really have to, unless they have something going on in their life that's really motivating them to move. And it goes back to that whole thing that 80% of people have a 4% mortgage or less, and a lot of people are free and clear. So there's just not a lot of excitement to go out and get a home at double the mortgage rate that you have right now.
Right.
We did see an uptick in pending sales. So pending sales are homes that went under contract, and these are homes that will probably close now. So these were for November, so they're going to close in December and probably into January. And that was up 16% from last year. Last year was really slow this time of year, but it's actually ticked up. Closed sales are down about 6% from last year. So again, we always got to put that lag in there between pending and closed.
Right.
And so the close were down for November, which means those are homes that went under contract in, let's say, September, October timeframe. So a little bit slower then. Days on market, I think people are always curious about this because they're like, okay, if I put my home on the market, how long is it going to be before I actually have it under contract? Right now, average is 29 days, and it's average.
Right.
Which means there may be some homes that have been on the market for, 3 years, right? Or there's not any, but let's say there's some homes that have been on the market for 180 days and some homes have been on the market 2 days, right? So homes are still selling relatively quickly. The median days on market, I believe, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it was 10 days. So half of them selling in about a week.
So what we know about that as feet on the street, right? Mm-hmm. And our listeners probably know is that a house's location, how it feels, how it smells, how it's presented, how it's priced, all make a big difference in that. And if it's a house that's, $1 million versus a house that's $200,000, it's going to make a huge difference on time on market, or it could, right? Yeah. If it's $1 million house priced for the location, condition, and it's, it shows like $1 million house, it's probably going to get interest right away. If it's $1 million house that's not priced for the condition, for the location, for what it offers, it's going to sit on the market until it's priced for the location, condition, how it shows, and all of those types of things. But when you have home priced in the lower price point, it's a little bit more forgiving. There's more buyers in that pool to probably work on it. But in general, it varies. And when we meet with our home sellers, that's when we go over their neighborhood, their house, their specifics to make sure that they're getting good advice, because us telling them it's 29 days on market on average, it really means nothing right now.
Right. It doesn't.
We can watch it over the long run and we know what it means, but it's changed in the last couple of years.
Well, what it means is when we look at it, we can say, okay, well, that's a lot faster than it was in 2018 or 2019, for example, but it's a little bit longer than it was in 2020 and really 2021, right? When it was great. So I mean, it's just kind of a placeholder to give you an idea. But let's talk about pricing, because I think that's everybody wants to know. Okay, are prices going up? Are prices going down? Have I gained equity in my home over the last year? And the answer is you've gained equity in your home probably over the last year, right? And of course, I got to throw the probably in there because it just again, everything's dependent. location and what it is and the product and what you have and all that stuff. But on average, median prices are up about 7% from last year. Average prices are up about 5%. And of course, those are measured a little bit different things. Price per square foot, which is my favorite number, just to kind of measure how much things change, is around 6-7% over year. I ran something the other day, Tracy. I don't think I told you this. I went back to November of 2019 till November of this year, 23, 4 years. We've seen 56% price per square foot appreciation in those 4 years.
Which falls right in line with what we're seeing as far as home prices and values, right? Yeah, 56%.
Yeah.
So if you bought in
So
summer of
pre-pandemic,
19
yep.
or pre-pandemic or early pandemic too, like right before it, January, February of 2020, December 2019, you're sitting up almost double what you paid for your house, or more than double.
It's not double, 56%.
Oh, 56%.
Yeah. It'd have to be 100% to be
There you
double.
go.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
don't
but
use me for math.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We'll just use ChatGPT to do the math.
Yeah.
Do the math. So
Yeah.
speaking of ChatGPT, can
50%.
I bring up a different subject?
Sure.
So we know the AI revolution is here. I think a lot of people recognize that, are paying attention to it. And there's a lot going on in the world of artificial intelligence. And it's definitely come into the real estate world, just like any other business, any other world. Tracy, like we said, we were at this event earlier this week. We had a presenter talking about AI and real estate and how to use it in the real estate business and where it's being used in the real estate business. But the one thing I wanted to talk about was one of the large national websites for real estate, Redfin. They just launched a partnership with a company to do AI space planning and interior design and redesign. So that's going to be coming into, very, I don't know how you call it. Basically, it's going to be intertwined with your home search experience much more going forward.
Yeah, it's nothing new. I mean,
no, not
we've
to
been
me,
able,
but yeah,
we've been able to do that, but it hasn't been like on a national platform, very quick and easy, right?
Yeah,
but we've done plenty of that. But for our listeners, they should know that you're an AI expert and you've been relating it to real estate, but almost everything we've done over the last few years has AI behind it, right? I mean, all of your home searches are seeing what you're liking and putting things in front of you. I mean, that's what Zillow does every day. I get emails based on me being on Zillow for my work. And I get emails saying, hey, you might like this house, or hey, you might want to apply for a loan, or, they're watching, and it's the AI behind the scenes that's doing it all.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, if you're using any type of software these days, it's got some AI in there. It may not be flashy and it may not be, real
some name that
fancy,
we know now,
like Grok or, ChatGPT or Bard or Anthropic
Dolly.
or, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. But anyway, back to home. Let's bring this back to real estate. Since this is a real estate show, there's a website. It's reimaginehome.ai. Speaking of AI and real estate. And what they do is allow you to basically redesign or do basically virtual renovation of your home. So you can take a photograph and upload it and virtually design your home and try different paint colors, try different furniture. You can do they've got one, it's a space decluttering. So like if you take a photo of a room that's full of stuff and it'll pull everything out so you can see what it looks like without all the stuff in it.
It's cool. So when I watch HGTV, which I know you think is odd since we do real estate every day, but Chip and Joanna Gaines, they're doing this whole hotel renovation right now, but some of their old shows are running and I've had an opportunity to flip through some of them. And it's interesting because I always used to be just blown away how them or the Property Brothers or anybody would say, okay, well, here's the house that we're considering and you could do this and we could remove this wall and here's what your kitchen could look like. And it would, this computer model would show what the house could be like, flash from this to this to this. And I'd go, wow, that must be really hard to do. And not anymore. Not very hard to do anymore. So reimagine.ai or something.
Reimaginehome.ai.
So there's a site. Yeah. So let's talk about something that's not statistics. Well, it kind of is. So realtor.com did their 10 housing markets with the hotness score.
Yep.
Then their 10 markets with the lowest hotness score.
Yep.
I thought it was really interesting, Tego, because I would have not guessed in general.
Okay, wait. I just got to say, I can't believe you saw that story.
Yeah.
Because I actually had it on our agenda for today, and we didn't talk about it. So it's interesting you brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the hotness scores, like the top 10, were not where I would have thought. Because it's this time of year, and it's like you would think that it'd be the southern half of the United States, typical, right? Well, the top 10: Manchester, Nassau, New Hampshire; Rochester, New York; Rockford, Illinois; Springfield, Massachusetts; Hartford, Connecticut; Worcester, Mass; Monroe, Michigan; Concord, New Hampshire; Providence, Warwick, Massachusetts; and Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
I mean, that's like almost all Northeast, Midwest, 100%, right?
It is.
Connecticut, Illinois, New York, New Hampshire. It's like, wow. So what are the not hot, right?
Yeah.
The not hot
Yep.
housing markets that are unhot. The hotness score is really, really low. Round Rock, Texas; Austin area; Auburn, Alabama; College Station, Bryan, Texas; College Station, Texas, big football, right?
Well, it's a lot along that Louisiana, southeast,
Southeast,
yeah.
Florida, Louisiana. There's an Oregon in there. Texas, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Texas. It's like, wow, I would never have thought it.
Yeah, what they do is they look at supply, they look at demand, and they kind of come up with a metric that says it's hot, not hot. Okay, yeah. So I bet you're wondering how Albuquerque is.
I am.
And I happen to have that.
You're so smart.
Oh, no, I'm just teasing you because I know the store you had didn't have it, but I've got a source that gave it to me. So what they did is they looked at 300 markets in the country.
Okay.
It's realtor.com, which just so everybody knows, like realtor.com, they know everything about every home for sale and sold in the country. They get that data in real time, actually. But they rank Albuquerque as 189. I'm sorry, 189 out of 300. So somewhere right in the middle. Yeah. So basically, they're saying
we're not hot and we're not cold.
We're a little more balanced.
We're just cool.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting, that's kind of the story of Albuquerque real estate. It's been that way for years and years and years, is where we don't have the huge swings up and down like Phoenix experienced last year. We didn't see that, maybe a little bit, but not like Phoenix. Yeah. So
I did see the
yeah.
color code on the chart that I was looking at that showed we were cool right in the middle.
We were right in the middle.
I didn't know the stat, but I knew we were not hot and not cold.
Well, and I think the thing that's interesting, anybody that's been following us or seen any of my stats is, we know that demand is down, but supply is still
very low,
very down.
Yeah,
and so we still have that enough demand to keep prices continually going up. So we're, like I say, we're about 6% higher in prices than we were a year ago, and we don't see that changing.
So one of the things I know before we run out of time, I really want to talk about the seller things that we can offer for someone who is thinking of selling a home right now and in the future, because we have some tools that no one else in our market has through Zillow to really give a home seller some real premium marketing and premium services,
right,
and along with our typical what we do for home sellers, right? The Zillow showcase listing is a pretty phenomenal product that we can offer to a limited number of home sellers. So whoever is most interested in learning about that, we can talk about it and see if your home is a good fit for that program. But just give us a call, give us a ring at 448-8888. We get you set up with one of our great brokers on the team that specializes in working with home sellers and our marketing genius behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Tego and his team.
Yeah.
And we'd love to go over that with you and be real specific with how that might be a benefit to you. It's one of those things where it's that time of year, Tego, where we're going into holidays big time now. We're past Thanksgiving. We've got Hanukkah's in full swing, and we've got Christmas, and we've got New Year's, and then kids go back to school.
Yeah.
But we do have that cash offer program also. So if you're thinking that you want to sell and you might need to sell before you buy, we have a program and several investors too that would make an offer and give you some time. You don't have to close right away. You could have like up to 90 days. So that would get you through all the holidays and into the new year, but you could know ahead of time that you have a solid contract to sell your home that will make life easier for you. So we'd love to chat with you about that too, if it's something you're interested in. So Tego, tell us about the Congress and the hedge funds and the
so this
mass buying of homes.
This some of you, this may be hard to hear because you may think something's going on, but it actually isn't. And that's that, big companies, big hedge fund type companies with lots of money are buying up all the single family homes. There was actually a headline floating around that said in 2023, hedge funds bought 44% of all the homes in the country. Now, of course, on the surface, we know that's ridiculous, right?
True.
I mean, obviously not true, not even close. The truth is it's maybe 1%, something like that. There are a lot of investment owned properties, but a good portion of those are the mom and pop people, right? It's the people, well, like us, we have some rental homes, right?
Right.
But, we have them in an LLC. We don't have them in our name. So we count as
we're hedge
investors, right?
Investors.
Yeah.
Wow, hun.
And so it must be yeah, I know it must be a election year because a couple Congress people put out a bill. It's called Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act of 2023.
And Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act in 2023.
Yes. So it's basically, we're not going to fix all the problems we have in this country with housing and affordability and zoning issues and lack of
supply.
Costs and supply issues and overregulation and blah, 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 blah. We're going to just put up this bill that says, look what we're doing to fix the housing crisis, when it's okay, maybe it'll make a difference, but it's a drop. It's like literally like 1% of all the homes are owned by these big, corporate owners. And if you see a stat that says something else, you're being lied to.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here.
I mean,
Tego's sticking his neck out.
I am, because I'm so frustrated with it, because I hear people say that, and it's like, no, it's just not the fact. I even did a local deep dive into the data here locally on, how many homes are owned by non-owner occupied, basically, rental properties. And it's in the low 20%, something like that. But just by looking through the list, I can look through the whole list and you can just see it's all little small operators. It's trusts and it's LLCs and it's.
I think we've covered it, right? I want to talk about a home.
You cutting me off? Are you?
I'm cutting you off. We got it.
Okay. All right.
Understood.
I'm a little passionate about that.
I could tell.
Yeah.
I just really want to talk about this house. It's in coming soon status, which means it's in our MLS, but it doesn't go out to all the Zillow's realtors and all those other websites.
Yes.
You have to know about it through your realtor. So I'm telling all of you about it right now. It's called 2147 Rivers Edge Drive in Rio Rancho.
Oh, yes, that one.
It's in Rivers Edge, which is northeast Rio Rancho. Newer property, built in 93, 2,731 square feet, single story.
Wait, newer property, 93?
Single story, custom built home in Rivers Edge.
Sorry, I couldn't let you go
down
by with
low.
that.
I'm just going to keep ignoring you. Down low by the river. Really beautiful single story floor plan. 3 or 4 bedrooms. So it's got the 3 bedrooms plus the extra space that could be a bedroom. It's about a third of an acre. It's listed at $568,000. They're having an estate sale this weekend. So it's not officially available for sale, but if you need to go look at furnishings that might be for sale, 2147 Rivers Edge Drive is having an estate sale, but it is coming soon in our multiple listing service, but it's not active listing yet.
Yeah, it's not available to be shown yet and all that. So they're just, doing the estate sale and dealing with that stuff. Yeah. 3 bedrooms
plus the office. It's got a really nice side porch, hot tub. It's a cul-de-sac. It's got mountain views. It's a good location.
No, it is.
And a nice house. So it's coming.
Awesome. If you want to reach out to us, we're the Venturi Group with Real Broker. You can call us at 505-448-8888, or you can visit our website at welcomehomeabq.com. You can do home searches there. You can look at market data. You can find out what your home might be worth. We've got a little program on there where you can put your address in, and it'll give you a basic idea of what your home might be worth and allow you to track it.
And there are open houses this weekend. So that's all on the website too at welcomehomeabq.com. Always great to be here and chat real estate with you. Let us know if there's something you want to know about real estate.